Raider Nation, what's going on? I'm Mitchell Renz. This is the Raiders Report. I'm going to be breaking down for you guys all the latest Raiders news, rumors, and the top 10 offensive free agent targets. So, guys, first rumor I have for you up on the board, Marshawn Lynch skips his meeting with Jon Gruden. Now, we know Gruden and Lynch have kind of had a little rumor going around that they're not really getting along. However, Scott Winter of the Las Vegas Raiders Report reported that Lynch blew off the meeting with Gruden. Lynch's agent, Doug Henderson, didn't like the speculation from Winter and took his anger out on Twitter. He quoted saying, "To all the couch potato non-verified people speaking on Marshawn Lynch, get a real job and check your sources. Hashtag beast mode." Lynch's status with the team remains up in the air for 2018. If Lynch did miss the meeting, his agent doesn't seem to believe this is a very big deal. Hendrickson probably doesn't want me talking about Lynch either because I'm not verified. However, I have 3 times the amount of followers than he does. Hashtag beast mode. My name is Mitchell Renz. Please follow me on Twitter at MitchellRenz365. This is the Raiders Report, so make sure you guys like Oakland Raiders by Chat Sports on Facebook so you know when I go live. Now, guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of different kinds of rumors, so you're going to need to understand my rumor scale. First one, 0 Chucky heads equals tuck rule. Tuck that, not going to happen. 1 Chucky head, small shredded truth. This one's about 25% chance of happening. 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. I like to think of this one as a coin flip. Heads or tails, that's your chance of this one coming true. 3 Chuckies. Pretty likely, 75% chance of happening. 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. 100% true, out of the rumor category and into the news category. Rumor number 2, Le'Veon Bell. Is he headed to Oakland? Again, we've seen the rumors are swirling around Marshawn Lynch and Jon Gruden. Now, can Le'Veon Bell potentially end up in Oakland? This one is 1 Chucky head, small shredded truth. So, if the Raiders decide to part ways with Lynch, whose status in 2018 remains to be seen, they could sign another running back. Bleacher Report's Justin Mascada believes that Bell also may be the prize target for the Raiders in free agency. Quote, "If you're going to pay a running back like a top 10, 100 player in the NFL, you're paying for his name, not his ability to win you football games. If there's any team that is looking to buy names right now, it's the Oakland Raiders." The Raiders did just pull Gruden out of retirement and signed him to a 10-year deal worth $100 million. So it isn't totally out of speculation that Mascada would say this. However, if the Pittsburgh Steelers are unable to complete a deal with running back Le'Veon Bell, the Raiders may end up targeting him. Speaking of potential targets, number 3 rumor on my list is Roquan Smith, linebacker out of Georgia. Is he going to be the first-round pick for Oakland in the 2018 NFL Draft? This one's pretty interesting. So this one's going to be 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. Now, it's hard to project which NFL teams will draft certain players this time of the year. For the Raiders, though, this one might be a little bit different. Many experts have a consensus that Oakland in the first round will pick Georgia linebacker Roquan Smith. Smith is targeted as the Raiders selection in Mel Kiper Jr.'s ESPN expert Mel Kiper Jr.'s mock draft, plus Chad Reuter, Daniel Jeremiah, Lance Zerloin from NFL.com. We have Chris Carrasco from CBS, and many, many more. Now, Mel Kiper thinks that this could be a potential replacement for free agent linebacker Navarro Bowman. So, Kiper writes, "Smith is the type of player new head coach Jon Gruden loves. He's physical, he can get to the sideline in a hurry, and he's a force in the middle. Smith is a little bit undersized in terms of a typical NFL linebacker, but he makes up for it with his speed and quickness. Gruden will fall in love with his toughness, his energy, and a combination of Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith. That's a deadly, deadly nightmare." Now, guys, I have a weigh-in for you. Would you want the Raiders, or who should the Raiders draft in the first round of the NFL Draft? If you think it should be Roquan Smith, throw up a heart. Another guy that's being rumored to them is Tremaine Edmonds, linebacker from Virginia Tech. If you think it's somebody else, give me a wow face, or you guys can just comment below, whatever you please. Next rumor I have for you up on the board, Raiders may draft a running back, John Kelly. I've said this a few times now on the show. We don't know the future of a guy like Marshawn Lynch. For this one, I'm going to give this 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. Again, the relationship between Gruden is in question with Lynch. So Ryan Lopez, a Raiders beat, believes Oakland is targeting a running back in the middle of round 4. That running back is Tennessee Volunteers Jr., John Kelly. So, who the heck is John Kelly? In his final season at Tennessee, he rushed for 778 yards, on 189 carries, which was good for 4.1 yards per carry. He also had 9 touchdowns, but this is the key. He caught 37 balls for 299 yards. Lopez writes, Jon Gruden finds himself his next Charlie Garner in the 4th round as the Raiders add my running back 4th overall. So he has him ranked 4th among running backs in the draft. I don't want to go into depth here as I plan on putting John Kelly under the microscope as soon as possible. While I don't think he's the type of prospect that Alvin Kamara is, also out from Tennessee, or even Kareem Hunt, I do think that Kelly is being glossed over quite a bit. So, this guy is a big physical running back. He says he's not quite as physical as a guy like Darius Geis from LSU. However, he's being glossed over, and it's a name that Raiders fans need to keep an eye on. Rumor number 5 is David Amerson visiting the Houston Texans. David Amerson was cut just a few days ago, about a week ago. I'm going to give this one 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. So, we just lost, or I shouldn't say we just lost. We just cut David Amerson, and a week ago, the 26-year-old who had 18 tackles and 4 pass breakups is starting to now go out and visit other teams. He visited the Bears, and now he visited on Monday the Houston Texans. NFL reporter Ian Rappaport reported free agent cornerback Amerson visited the Texans, and after a solid 2015 season, Amerson could earn himself a big contract. He earned himself a big contract, with the Raiders. But since signing that contract, Amerson has struggled. That's not totally surprised to hear from us Raider fans. He missed time this past season with injuries and just could not perform up to the expectation. He is also being linked to the San Francisco 49ers, which, sorry for him, they're not going to compete with us. With that being said, maybe Emerson's cut is coming. Could a trade possibly be coming? That's where I'm coming in with my next rumor. Number 6, Darqueze Dennard trade. Is this one potentially coming? This is in the mix. A solid cornerback out of Cincinnati. I'm going to give this one 2 Chucky heads. People are talking. No secret that the Raiders need to improve their cornerbacks, with Sean Smith likely to get cut, and as we just spoke, Amerson being cut. Bleacher Report's Brent Soblisky wrote an interesting article about the ideal trade for the Raiders this offseason. He writes, the secondary depth isn't a luxury for most teams, but the Bengals do have luxury with their depth. Raiders defensive coordinator Paul Guenther has in-depth knowledge of the Bengals secondary and should be pressuring general manager Reggie McKenzie to make a move for his new team's benefit. Guenther spent 13 seasons on the Bengals staff and saw a raw firsthand of how talented the team's current crop of defensive backs is. Drake Kirkpatrick and William Jackson are the top corners, and they've experienced Adam Jones playing behind them as long as he's 34 years old, and they keep him this season. So, with Darqueze entering the season as a starter, he played the 2nd most snaps among Bengals defenders, according to The Athletic's Joe Goodberry. Jackson must be on the field after a stellar 2nd season, which means Dennard gets demoted. Yet, Guenther knows how valuable he can be to the Raiders secondary that needs a starter opposite of last year's first-round pick, Garyon Conley. While the Bengals may or may not move on from Dennard, who is only 26 years old, he is an intriguing target for the Raiders. Dennard had 85 combined tackles, 6 passes defended, 2 interceptions, 2 sacks last season. Rumor number 7. Are the Oakland Raiders in the NFL's top 10 games of 2017? I'm giving this one 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. And that game, for all of you guys, I hope you're as excited as me, was when the Raiders took on the Kansas City Chiefs, Week 7, on Thursday Night Football. What a game it was. For the Raiders fans, this is one of those where I bet you 100% you remember exactly where you were during this game. So, early Thursday night, come from behind win against the Chiefs. And this one turns out that this is one of those. Let me start over here. As such, the top 10 games from the NFL season, this was one of those. So the Chiefs were sitting at 5-1, the Raiders at 2-4, coming off of 4 straight losses. Derek Carr and Amari Cooper, these guys were struggling. It was also Navarro Bowman's first game as a Raider, and he was just there for only 5 days. 2 plays into the game, Marshawn Lynch is ejected after contacting the official. Personally, I don't think he should have been ejected. However, I'm not the official. Then, just saying the Raiders won the game on the last second isn't doing it justice because, well, there was no time left on the clock when they won the game due to 2 Chiefs penalties. All in all, the Raiders ended up winning this game 31-30. Amari Cooper went for 140. Amari Cooper coming into the game had 146 yards. He goes for 11 catches, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Derek Carr, 417 yards, 3 touchdowns. I think sports are about memories. It's about creating those memories. And I remember, like I said, exactly where I was, and I was actually working here at Chat Sports. But I want you guys to throw in your comments, where were you during that memorable play where Derek Carr hit Michael Crabtree for the win? Let's hopefully now we can cross our fingers and hope we have a whole bunch of more of those games in 2018, which is now where we're going with our next rumor. Do the Oakland Raiders have the third easiest NFL schedule in 2018? I'm giving this one 4 Chucky heads. Believe it, baby. Now, the Raiders had a pretty tough schedule the last few seasons, which we definitely know that. The entire AFC West is among the bottom of the easiest schedules in the league, with the Raiders landing tied with the Bengals for the third easiest schedule. The winning percentage among the teams is .473. Only the Titans and the Texans have easier schedules in 2018. This year, the AFC West was a combined 30 and 34 last year. They'll face the AFC North and NFC West. With the Raiders finishing third in the division, they'll face the third-place finishers in the AFC East, Dolphins, Colts. And this leaves the Raiders facing just 3 2017 playoff teams with the Chiefs, Steelers, and the Rams. How many wins, guys, do you think the Oakland Raiders are going to have? It's just a question that I have after hearing that their schedule is going to be easy. They finished with 6. I'm hoping for somewhere north of 10, 11. That's what I think. Throw those in the comments below. Next rumor I got for you guys, Jon Gruden. Does he want Johnny Manziel in Oakland? Yes, we're talking about Johnny Manziel again, and sorry, guys, but this is one that we have to talk about. I'm giving this one Chucky head, small shred of truth. Johnny Football was on Good Morning America on Monday discussing his struggles that he's dealing with in his life. Now, once Manziel's name came up, it became a thing again, and NFL.com's Ian Rappaport, back in 2014, so somebody dug this up, in 2014, pointed out that Jon Gruden was pushing the Raiders in 2014 to draft Manziel. Obviously, this didn't happen, but with Gruden now landing as the next head coach with the Raiders, it's kind of an interesting thing to talk about. It goes without saying that the reports about Gruden are a huge fan of Manziel, but Awfully Announced brought an interesting quote that the coach and the quarterback that the coach said about the quarterback when he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers during the draft. So this is the quote. "If they pick Johnny Football, I might have to reapply for my season tickets. I would love to see my hometown Bucks take Johnny Football. We need a kid like this to bring the juice back to our organization." So, guys, I got a little reaction poll for you. What would you want Johnny Football to be a Raider? If you think it's a yes, give me a heart. If it's a no, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, tell me why you don't want Johnny Football back.